What's good, everybody? It's New Comic Book Day. I'm Comic Man Andy, and you're in the Comic Man Andy Comic Cave and Comic Dojo. If you love collecting, reading comic books as much as I do, you are in the right place. Sit back, buckle up. We're going to have some fun. We're going to do our usual Wednesday thing, talk new comic books. We're going to do some announcements. We're going to do some news. We're going to hit it up with the chat. We're going to have a good time. I am emotionally spent after watching episode 4 of Ahsoka. Man, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but episode 4, thumbs up. Spent. But we're here to talk about New Comic Book Day, and everybody that's going to hang out with us tonight as people filter in. Like I said, we'll do our usual, talk about the books, hit up the chat, do announcements and news. We'll hit up the chat again, and we go for a round 2 on the books for anybody showing up late. But we've got an important message to share right off the get-go tonight. Next month, October 20th to 22nd is C3, the yearly event here on YouTube for Comics Curing Cancer. That's right. We have reached out to those guys, and we're going to be helping to promote Comics Curing Cancer on the channel for the next several weeks leading up to the event. And we're going to be donating our time, and we're going to be donating some slabs and comic books to Comics Curing Cancer, and seeing if we can break the record for last year and help be a part of that. So, quick little teaser intro. Here you go. Yes, hashtag FCancer, October 20th to the 22nd. And we'll see how we can help be a positive piece of assistance, so to speak, for that, and help those guys out that have been running that for some time. And see, like we said, if we can break the record for last year. Cancer is not a great thing at all by any means. It's terrible, but we can do our part to help out with that. So again, Comics Curing Cancer, October 20th to the 22nd. For more information and news, you can follow on this channel here. You can follow on Rob's Fat Stacks of Comics. You can follow on DJ Link's channel. You can follow on Legion of Comics, and many more to come. And there'll be some links and there'll be some web pages to check out. So yeah, and tune in to the end of the episode here. We'll have a little 1-minute spot about that as well that we haven't shared yet. So let's get in with the chat here that's filtering in already. GT Key Comics, what is up, man? Thank you for being here, and thank you for being there last night. L Green Machine, hello, everybody. Thanks for being here, brother. Happy New Comic Book Day, everybody. Louis Mendoza, good to see you. Hello, everybody. Dale Suspense, brother. Hello. Good to see you. Phil Ailing, thank you for being here. Man, I don't know if you guys caught last night's live stream. We went for almost 3 hours up until dang near midnight. And boy, did we run with some sleep deprivation a day. But we pulled through. We got some books. We got some books read. We're excited about some books. More importantly, we're kind of talking about what? Comic burnout. It's real. And it's okay to feel burnout. We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight because I'll be honest with you guys. It's summertime, and I've been feeling comic burnout. It's summertime. That's kind of the summer lulls. But comic burnout waits for nobody and happens to just about everybody at some point or another. Share your guys' story in the chat if you guys are feeling burnout at any point. What's comic burnout? New shop? That's actually Beckerman, man. Trademark that, save it, set it up, start up your shop and call it comic burnout. That's actually kind of cool. Kind of like a hip grunge punk version of a comic shop. No, there's seriously, I've definitely have comic burnout. What is good, y'all? Luke, I know Luke went hard to the paint for a year or two buying and collecting books and reading. And here we are over here. We were well under budget. We were well on our weekly budget, but we've got a couple additional books in here. And that's another reason why I've got something a little upsetting to share this week about a couple of pickups that we'll get to after we get to the New Comic Book Day books, after you get through those. Back in action, what is up? Thanks for being here. Good to see you, man. Glenn Smith, new moderator in the chat. What is up, man? Don't be afraid, Glenn, to share any links of anybody that is a content creator in the YouTube avenue. Like John's Comics with Kids is here. Don't be ashamed or afraid to drop his link in the chat. Beckerman, Comic Viking channel, they hang out there. Drop the Comic Viking channel. Drop Dale Suspense's channel. You've got a wrench, man. If anybody's running a YouTube channel or part of a YouTube channel, don't be afraid to drop those links and help build the community. Absolutely. It's okay to feel burnouts, because Andy made me stay up last night. He promised an hour. Yeah. Tuesday night Comic News Weekly has religiously been almost like an hour to an hour and 15. And just when you have 6 or 7 people on and there's something like what's been going on in the comic community, a lot of hurt, a lot of hate, a lot of not great words, a lot of words and phrase with venom, people just not being nice to each other and being mean. It's like there's a lot to talk about there. There's a lot to chew on. It was almost a 3-hour show. Don't be afraid to pop that on while you're doing some bagging and boarding and some organizing your collection, and listen along and share your feelings and your comments in that video below, because that was a lot. There was a heavy discussion. There's a lot to talk about there, a lot to dissect, a lot to talk about. Well, as more people continue to filter in, without further ado, we're getting into new comic book day, and we had a responsible day. Some books I'm really excited about. There's a link in the chat, Dale. Thank you, brother, man. Michael, good to see you. What's up, guys? Book one. A spider book that's not Peter Parker, that's not Miles Morales, that's not it's Silk. I'm just kind of like chugging along. This is doing what a comic book does best. Have a little fun with it, right? I feel like I'm getting my value out of it. It's also one of those series where I don't feel like I have to be incredibly invested in. And if I miss it for a couple of weeks, I don't feel upset at all. Just something kind of spider related without reading mainstream Spider-Man stuff, you know? Like I said, I don't dislike Peter Parker or Spider-Man. I'm just more of a fan of the tertiary characters in that universe, really. I would love to read I'd love to read like a Wilson Fisk series. God, that'd be good. It's probably I think it's been done in the past either way, but a new modern one. And that's for Marvel. We're still in Marvel, actually. We try to go DC, Marvel, and then indies, and there's no DC books today. And I bucked up. Yes, we bucked up because there's 3 or 4 solid DC reads going on this week. And there was at least, I think, 2 or 3 DC number ones that started that would have been good entry points to grab. I kind of grabbed my pull list. I grabbed a couple of other books and I ran, really. Like I said, we were burning the midnight oil last night, running for almost 3 hours straight, go straight to bed. Didn't get much sleep last night with a sick puppy and just trying to help take care of that dog. And then a full day at work, running home because we missed Ahsoka last night. We had to catch Ahsoka before it got too late in the day. We catch Ahsoka, roll right into reading some books and cooking dinner, right into the Comic Vet channel with his Show Me What You Got live stream for New Comic Book Day. And then here we are right now. This is in the top couple of covers, I think, of the week for me. Dark Droids 2. I love this, how it's kind of set up like a movie poster. But I like Star Wars. And what do I like more than Star Wars? I like a lot of the droids. I like a lot of the ships, a lot of the mechanical things in Star Wars. And they do this is delivering in spades. Issue 1 was good. I really liked issue 1. How do you really talk about it without spoiling it a little bit? But that AllSpark or that kind of plays a role in moving in. And I got about halfway into issue 2 before we went live on Chris's channel. And I'm digging this. I like it. This is making me excited to read the crossover event. Crossover events are not something that I've been excited to do or read in recent months, maybe even a year and a half. This series is getting me excited. I'm starting to fight through that comic burnout a little bit that we're going to talk about after we get through these books, because I want to hear how you guys are feeling through the summer. Star Wars issue 38. Here you go, crossover, the Dark Droids. I got to get a little bit more caught up on the Star Wars main read. Then my cover. This is my cover of the week. And it's cover price. And there were a lot of them readily available. It's the 15th anniversary Clone Wars Commander Cody. Digging this cover. That's my cover pick of the week. I didn't dig too deeply into exclusives or other variants. This is what was available on the shelf. And that's what I grabbed. Speaking of which, Dark Droids 2 had a 1 in 50. It had a 1 in 100, I think. We'll get into that and kind of take a look in a minute here and talk about why we didn't grab those. I saw the 1 in 50, didn't pay for it, didn't grab it. Getting a little more responsible. Battle Droid action figure variant Roger. It's the first thing that pops into your head when you grab that cover. And then the connecting variant for issue 38 Star Wars. Now, you're going to do a connecting variant with a bunch of droids in it. There's got to be a Chopper in one of these. There must be another one coming, because how do you do this and not have Chopper in this? Needs more Chopper, in my opinion. And then here we are. 8 lone issues left for the completion of the 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi covers. And honestly, for the amount of bulk that this takes up, you're talking 40 issues. almost half a short box. A short box should hold 100 and 115, something like that, maybe even 120 if you're squeezing them in of their smaller books. Almost half a short box. Honestly, I'm probably going to complete this run, get my value out of it, and I'm probably going to put it all together in one big pile, all 40 issues, and put it up on eBay for a start of, I don't know, 50 cents to a dollar a book, and kind of see if anybody's looking for it. Because why did I do this? I let the completionist collector get the better of me, and then I'm looking at what, 40 more issues after I picked up a couple of them. That's more than I wanted to bite off, actually, because they're going to be doing this again. There's going to be another anniversary. There's going to be another run of variants. Do I want to have 6, 7, 8 short boxes? I'm exaggerating slightly, but you get the point, of just anniversary variants of the different covers. I'm never going to spend the money to slab all these and hang them up. That's not going to happen. So how much enjoyment am I really going to get out of them if they're just sitting in a box? Me, probably less enjoyment than somebody else out there that's a bigger Star Wars fan than I am. So we'll see. We'll get them all together in 8 months, less than a year. We'll get them all together, kind of see how we feel about them, kind of take a look at if any of them picked up any value, see if anybody's going to get a good value if we put them all together as a kind of a bundle, and kind of make that decision. You know what I mean? This is one of those things that I feel like I can kind of trim the fat on a little bit. And you're like, I don't know, some of you are probably saying, well, Andy, why are you going to bother picking up the other 8? Well, it's really tough to sell a run of books if you're missing 8 of them, right? Like, what is it? $4.99 plus a 20% discount. It's not that much more of a value or an investment to pick up the rest of them and then determine what I'm going to do with the whole run of books. That's the main Marvel run. Now we're on to indie books from Boom Studios. Once Upon a Time at the End of the World, issue 9 is out. And I did it. I forgot to email the LCS and say, yeah, you know what? I'm all set with reading this. And I think it was like issue 6 or 7. I was debating that. And by issue 7 or 8, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to drop it. And I forgot. Well, now that I'm at 9 and I'm going to sit down and read 8 and 9, I might as well stick it out to issue 12 to see if they're going to end it at 12 or see what's going to happen. And then just call it right there. Because again, if I ever want to trim back, it's better to sell a full run of 12 books where the story ends than it is to try to sell the first 9 issues when you're missing 3 or 4. I'm not trying to be a retailer here. I'm not trying to be a distributor or be I'm not trying to fill that gap. I'm just saying if I ever want to move along and make some space for some other collection as I grow and change as a collector, it's going to be much easier to sell an entire run of books for a 12 issue miniseries, if this is a 12 issue miniseries, than it is to sell 75% of it. Makes it more convenient for somebody that wants to pick up the book and read it. And if they really want to be convenient about it, they'll get the trade paperback. But somebody out there is interested in reading it and probably having the singles or the floppy issues, because it's how a lot of us operate sometimes. Not sometimes, but there's a lot of us that operate like that. Last indie read, actually second to last indie read that we grabbed was issue number 1 from Dark Horse Comics, Tear Us Apart. Now, the premise of the story sounded pretty cool. In fact, cool enough that I want to pull this up for the 30 seconds really quick so we can kind of talk about it. Because this is kind of, I'm starting to feel a little more invigorated coming out of summer. This is when I feel like more of the publishers start to drop some interesting number ones or interesting stories that they were kind of holding in their back pockets. They're not going to drop these in the dead middle of the summer or the beginning of the summer when people aren't, they're out camping, they're out hiking, they're out doing whatever. They want to get people when they're getting ready to spend more time inside. School has started. Essentially, when school starts, was when I start to tune my eye into that shelf to see more number ones that are coming out that of storylines that I might be interested in. And Tear Us Apart does sound pretty interesting to me. Deep in the Canadian wilderness, a vicious cult dedicated to an ideology of pain trains children to become deadly assassins. Sounds pretty cool. Just to get off there, just to step off there. In the midst of this world of cruelty, 2 teenagers break the cardinal rule by falling in love. Not really big on the love stories, but this could be really cool depending on how they play it out. The only thing standing between them and happily ever after is an army of murderers with the taste for blood. That sounds kind of cool. This is one of those. This is kind of in my wheelhouse of things that interest me. Jay Burchell, Van Jensen, some creator names that I'm not entirely familiar with. And I'm not afraid to grab a book that sounds interesting from a creative team that I don't know, because maybe I discover a creative team that I'm really going to fall in love with. Looking forward to reading that. If I can keep the energy up after this live stream tonight, I'll probably read that one and this one tonight, because I'm actually, this one's really sounding crazy, really sounding a lot like a lot of fun here. And I'm going to talk about the premise of this because a couple of people have picked it up and a couple of people have talked about it a little bit, but I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it on like Instagram or other social media avenues. In fact, the only reason why I even know about the book is actually we talked about it slightly. McClay brought it up on her show last night and talked about it. And that is Hunt for the Skinwalker #1 from Boom Studios. And now I've learned my lesson over the last couple of years. Boom Studios is going to release a title that's going to be ongoing that I'm going to want to read. I'm not saying this is ongoing. I'm just saying if it is going to be ongoing, I'm only picking up cover A. Not doing variant buys anymore from Boom Studios. No offense to Boom Studios, they do phenomenal covers. They do some pretty damn good covers. So much so to the point where I spend too much money. I'm going to give my wallet a break. We're going to get some other things. We're going to continue focusing on some other things in the family to take care of instead of dropping all that extra coin on comic books leading into this fall, leading into the Christmas and the holiday season. But Hunt for the Skinwalker is unidentified flying objects, animal mutilation, terrifying otherworldly cryptids, countless strange phenomenon. For more than 50 years, a remote ranch in the Ute Basin has been the most significant nexus for the paranormal. Ooh, I'm not really one of specifically interested in paranormal stuff, but when you start to read more into this, inspired by one family's confrontation with the unexplainable and terrifying, and what happened when they invited the largest scientific investigation of the paranormal to the ranch. What does my brain do? Ding, 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 ding. X-Files. Oh, cool. If this is going to be something similar to X-Files, I'm going to like it. Definitely willing to give this a shot. This is going to be, this and Tear Us Apart are going to be the two indie reads that I read tonight after we're done going live here. And those are the books that we picked up for New Comic Book Day. No crazy variants. But before we stop talking about New Comic Book Day and cycle into anything else, we are going to bring up the screen here because, Andy, where's the Star Wars variants? Don't you usually pick up Star Wars variants? Yeah, but I'm feeling a little done with Star Wars variants. Like until I see prices change 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now. Granted, Star Wars 38, everything was cover price. You got the connecting variant, you got the Commander Cody Clone Wars killer cover. But then if you look back, they actually did Dark Droids. They did several ratio variants for that. Cover A is phenomenal. Love it. This was the 1 in 100 Scott Scorgan variant, and I really, 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 really enjoy this variant cover to the point where, okay, don't let FOMO get the better of me. I'm not going to pay $100 for it. I didn't pre-order it. Didn't even see it on the shelf anywhere. Didn't grab it. But this is going to be one of those variants that I look for in a back issue box of, because that's my LCS does back issue boxes of ratio variants now. I'm going to be looking for this. I'm going to be looking to and hoping to find it for a substantial discount off of that 1 in 100 that they probably, after the $100 that they probably charge for that. Killer looking Star Wars Virgin variant cover. Absolutely love it. Digging the Dark Droids read so far. And then the 1 in 50 they did have on the shelf. I like it, but I didn't like it enough because of the way they did the trade dress. If they would have had the entire background filled in and then just put the Dark Droids purple over top of that, that would have been cool. Granted, wish in one hand, crap in the other, but either way. And at a 1 in 50, I think I saw $29.99 on it. No, I can wait on that. Good looking cover. I'm not willing to pay $30, $40 for that. And there is the other connecting cover for Dark Droids. I should have grabbed that one, R2-D2 on it. I'll go back for that one because they had quite a few of them, and that one's cover price. That one I should have just grabbed at cover price. I'll go back and grab that one. And then the action figure variant, this is quite the different take on an action figure variant. I kind of liked it. I don't know. The jury's out if I'm going to grab that one. Cover price, though. And then there is the trade dress variant of the Virgin. That's the B cover, if you will. No, not the B cover. So there's cover A. There's your 1 in 100. There's your 1 in 50 Gist. There's your connecting variant. There's your JTC action figure variant. And then there's essentially your B cover. Killer run of covers for Dark Droids makes me wonder what they're going to be doing going forward. And I'm looking forward, to say forward twice over, to seeing what they do with that. But this, if I had picked it up, would probably be my cover pick of the week if it wasn't going to be $100 book on my LCS. Didn't even see it though. And that kind of tugs at my FOMO strings a little bit. So I'm going to be hunting this later, 3 to 6 months from now. How many people are ordering Dark Droids? How many people are ordering Star Wars books right now? Now, granted, Marvel's going to do a fair print run, but there was not a ton of Dark Droids books for 1 or 2 at my LCS, leading me to believe my LCS probably didn't even get a 1 in 100. They probably did not even order 100 copies. So I'm going to add this to the eBay follow list to keep an eye on it and get updates to see what kind of sales happen with this, to see and kind of track what happens. Because if we go to eBay right now, it's generally a 1 in 100. I'm sure that if it's doing well or a lot of people are interested in it and there's not a lot of availability, it's probably trending a hair over 100. If there is a standard availability and there's a lot of people that can grab it, it's probably trending around that $100 range. Very rare does a 1 in 100 Star Wars book sell for way under $100 at the very beginning. It takes a couple weeks or a couple of months. I was digging that book. I really want to keep an eye out and looking for that. That's just me. You guys don't come here to listen to like, I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm just sharing what I'm interested in doing. And if you guys feel similarly, you guys will let me know. And if not, you'll tell me that as well. And we'll have a nice, healthy debate about it. We'll have a good time. I know a lot of people were picking up Poison Ivy 14 because of those covers. Those were phenomenal. Some absolutely straight, gorgeous looking covers. Substantially, where am I going with this? Just phenomenal artwork. Nakayama, 2 killer Nakayama covers. I just haven't fallen deep into that DC hole where I'm picking everything up there, because then I'm just going to fall into that hole again and then turn around a year later and be like, holy crap, what happened? I've got another 8 short boxes of additional books. What am I going to do with them all? Read them and put them back and occasionally read them again. Not a lot of DC stuff what I send out for grading. I just don't collect DC books as far as graded books go. But that's pretty much what I was paying attention to. And then granted, there's stuff that I'm missing. I know there's not a lot of other Marvel stuff that I'm reading. Spider-Gwen 1 was out. Had some phenomenal looking covers. Shannon Mayer, if I remember correctly. This was the Shannon Mayer cover. And of course, it's going to block the top there. Advertisements. Ji-Hung Lee, 1 in 100. Didn't even see that in the shop. Don't know if they ordered enough. Curious to see what that goes for in the future. Some very fun covers from Spider-Gwen. I'm not a big Spider-Gwen reader or collector. I'm also trying to maintain a discipline, if you will, when it comes to cover buying, especially when you get into ratio variants and exclusives. Talking $40 to $100 a pop. It gets pretty crazy pretty quick, right? Let's hit up the chat. I haven't hit up the chat for a while. We'll do some more news and updates really quick. We are keeping the energy high after an almost 3-hour live stream last night that left me feeling great about the future of this community and the channel and the people in this community and how much fun we can have and some of the positive things we can do having fun with content. Yes, Wheelchair Superhero. Hey, everyone, here's my main channel. There you go. Don't forget to continue dropping links for channels that are making content so we can help continue to build the comic community for everybody that is just showing up and just learning about all of this. They can find the content that they can enjoy and they can help support the growing and the building of the next generation of the comic book community. Michael, good to see you, man. That's about where we left off there. Come on, mama. Speaking of burnout, I hope you guys are feeling better after a crazy busy summer for you guys. It's been a long time since I've gotten to join. Miss all you guys and gals. Thank you for being here so much. Hope you, the Mr. and the mini CEO are all doing phenomenal right now. And again, Dale's dropping links for everybody. Thank you so much. Hey, Dale, how are you? Sub to Kyle. Kenneth Bird, like 4-time community winner of awards and packages. Thanks for being here, man. Hey, everyone is here tonight. Absolutely, man. Beckerman says, all jokes aside, I don't know if I got burnout on comics ever. People, sure. People, yeah, that's a fair statement. Cons sometimes, and definitely had burnout with certain shops, but never comics. Well, for me, I try to do too much at one time, and I've been so busy with the family, We adopted a new dog recently, a puppy, a year and a half old, and a full-time career can make it difficult to carve out time for yourself and to enjoy your own hobbies. When you put other people first, you put other things first, and then when you come home and you sit down, it's like, I got time to read. That 30-minute window to read or that 45-minute window to read is eaten up by this question, that question, this scenario, this catastrophic event that's happening in other people's lives or your life, and you got to help, or you got to help yourself or help your family. So the time to sit down and read can be really difficult to find in the summertime. So now school's back in session. Things are settling in a little bit. Hopefully we'll make for some more time to sit and read. Kind of exciting. Ahsoka, streaming content takes away from reading time too for me and for us being Star Wars fans. And there's been some decent Star Wars content the last 6 months to a year. So that takes away a chunk every week too. Thanks for the subs and for both channels. Absolutely, man. Keep sharing those links for anybody trying to find an audience or the audience that is looking for your content. That's how we help build the community there. Yes, hello, Kenneth. A lot of other people saying hello. Agreed, Andy, except Berserker. Nobody will buy that run. It's just there's so many copies available. People are finding them in bins for really cheap. Nobody needs to buy any of them on eBay or anywhere else, Berserker books, because they can go to any shop remotely around them and find copies. Granted, if you don't have a shop within driving distance, sure, then you're probably looking online, but that piece of the pie is a lot smaller than what I would imagine. They printed a ton of those books. They're going to be readily available forever. Speaking of people dropping by and saying, hi, Downright Nerdy Podcast. What is up, brother? Mac and Me, issue 1 dropping next Wednesday at Comic Man Andy Kickstarter project. For those of you guys that don't know, please go out and watch the movie Mac and Me. It is delightfully terrible, and it is a fun way to troll your friends who have a movie review channel and a movie review show when you vote in Mac and Me and watch them all suffer. Mike, brother, thanks for being here. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you and yours are doing well. Still got to get a package of a couple of t-shirts out to you, and we'll make that happen soon. People are the worst, Dale. He says, absolutely. Brother John Comics, speaking of people that aren't the worst, Brother John Comics, what's up, man? What's good, brothers and sisters? Absolutely. Nemesis Prime, such a great read. I'm with Nemesis Prime, and I was just kind of into issue 1 and read issue 1. I think it was either this morning or on my way back from work. I listened to the Comic-Con podcast, and they were talking about the droids read, and I was like, it got me really kind of fired up, kind of breaking me through the summer burnout a little bit. Only 3 issues are solicited. Interesting. Very interesting. Only 3 issues. Izzyverse, what's up, brother? Thanks for being here. Good to see you, man. JLS Comics, what's up, Annie and chat? Speaking of other YouTube channels, there you go. There's Nemesis Prime. Please feel free, Nemesis, to drop the link to your Comic-Con podcast information, and let's triple check to make sure that we've got a wrench set up for Nemesis. Oh, we don't. There it is. Here's a wrench set up for Nemesis Prime so he can drop the Comic-Con podcast links whenever he needs to and is strolling by. Phenomenal podcast that stays in tune with what's going on with modern reads, modern comic creators, and modern collectors, and a lot of other things going on, and even non-modern stuff. They'll still talk about Silver Age and Golden Age, what's going on in the community and in the secondary market. I love Milton and Nemesis Prime take on the weekly take on comic books going on right now. It's a great way to stay tuned in and up to date when you're short on time, and you can utilize some drive time right there. So thank you again, Nemesis. Dale saying hi. What is up? Yeah, so many people here hanging out. I really appreciate you guys. Cosmic One, thanks for being here. Good to see you. Yes, it's good to see everybody. Planet Arizona Comics, what's up, Andy, man? Catching you on the drive home. Thank you. Please don't drive into a pole. Hopefully somebody's driving for you and you're watching on the side as a passenger. Although, I mean, how is putting a YouTube channel where it's just kind of a talking head up any different than listening to a radio station? You know what I mean? That's kind of interesting. Planet Arizona Comics, we went for almost 3 hours last night on a community-based discussion and talked a little bit about it on Comics News Weekly about the SAG-AFTRA strikes and the AMC reaching a deal. Check that out. Would love to hear from you about the community side of things and how you feel. Thanks for having me on your show last night, Izzy, man. We were all running a little long in the tooth and got to the end, and that train got a little derailed, and John's like, all right, guys, I gotta go. And we all realized, oh, yeah, it's almost midnight. We got to call it a night. Brother, there's so many so many great friends showing up tonight. Bay, Drew Manchu, Bay, what is up, brother? Thanks for being here and good to see you. Great community member, great close friend, a very, very long tenured friend of mine that we read comic books on Modern Comic Men on the Comic Core channel for a long, long time. And I was just thinking about Drew the other day as I was going through a run of Punisher books he sent me. I'm like, man, I got to sit down and read these things again. Drew, thank you again. Good to see you. Miss you, Boo. Glad to see you're doing well, brother. I hope you guys are too. Hope to see you guys sometime soon in the future with the Downright Nerdy podcast. I really miss staying up to date on everything nerdy with you guys. Good times over there. Mac and me, classic Paul Rudd bit when he was on the Conan and O'Brien show. Absolutely. Josh Oliver, thanks for being here, man. Good to see you. So, really quick, about that halfway point right now. I just learned that Circumference built King Arthur's Round Table. God bless America. You're right. Circumference. Hey, Mike, man, are you still here? I got a couple of jokes for you. Don't go anywhere. If you're still here, I got a couple of jokes for you. And if you're still here and answering, we'll get into those jokes as we show a couple of pickups this week, because one of the things that we talk about when we're getting a little bit burnt out and we're kind of paying attention to other things is when streaming media and movies start dropping content that you're a fan of, but we remember and we realize that when those things are dropping, it might not always be the best time to pick up books because they might be seeing a plateau or a spike in price and value. And we remember to talk about pumping the brakes, not letting FOMO get the best of us. But there is a flip side to this. When content does drop and shows do hit, what tends to happen? More people bring books to the market that you might not normally find. That being said, with Ahsoka coming out, I've found it actually a lot easier to find newsstand editions of the Clone Wars run. Issue 2, second appearance of Ahsoka in a newsstand in a great reader grade copy, somewhere in like that 8.5 to 9.2 range. Not a bad price. I think it was like $30 plus shipping on eBay. It was like one of the last like affordable copies, and people want high grade books. Yes, I want high grade books too. But you know what I want in my collection? I just want a damn copy because I want to have the run of newsstand editions. Nemesis Prime got me fired up. Nemesis Prime was always on the hunt for these. And Phil, Vintage Comics and Toys, we talk about Star Wars newsstand variants quite a bit in side chats and text messages and whatnot. And we were talking about that the other day. And you know what? I missed an opportunity to buy a really crispy grade copy of this book from Phil. And I think it was one of those things where I'm like, Phil, man, I'd love to have this for the collection. I'd love to get it signed. What's your price, man? What are you doing with it? He's like, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. He's like, you know what? I think I'm going to go get it graded and see what happens. Damn thing came back a 9.8, that lucky guy. And I know there's a happy person out there that picked that up from him. But during all this discussion, I was talking with Nemesis Prime, and I'm like, man, where do you put a fair market value on a book that's in high grade, that's a newsstand, that doesn't sell often or has no sales records or sales data? You know, how do you do that? What do you do if you want to make an offer? Well, lo and behold, after talking, I just scrolled around and said, oh, hey, look, here's a decent reader grade copy that's complete, not ripped, not torn, just a couple of spine ticks. And for like 30 some odd bucks, I think it was $38 shipped. Some people might say, hey, that's a lot of money for a book that's not in really high grade. Well, on the other side of things, these newsstand editions for Clone Wars land in that territory where newsstands were kind of becoming, I don't want to say ghost books because they weren't quite ghost books there, but there were definitely not a lot. Nor were they treated very well. And there's a lot of them out there that are even worse shape, and a lot of them that were probably thrown out and destroyed. Very happy to add a copy of this to the Star Wars collection and it's a great solid reader copy. That being said, attaining a newsstand edition of #1 is probably like a 10 to 20 year long-term game. I don't know if that book's ever going to come down in price. I don't know what's going to happen, but we can at least start somewhere. There's issue 2. The other reason why I'm kind of emotionally spent tonight is we did find issue 8 and we made a lowball offer and got it. Problem is, sometimes low offers come with consequences. This book ended up showing up damaged. It was in a 9294 let me rephrase that. It was in decent shape, probably in the 990, 92 range with the press and a clean. Could have been a solid 9.4. It had like 2 spine ticks on it. Corners weren't too bad. And lo and behold, I got it right here. eBay seller sends the book in just this. And that's a risk we all take. That's all they sent the book in. Book slid around in here. There's tape at the top, tape at the bottom, tape at the side. That was it. That's all they sent it in. And you guessed it. You know what happened right there. When it ships like that, that little flare up was enough to cause some major bottom corner damage. And granted, I got it for, I mean, it's issue 8. First, it's a great Assad Ventures cover. First appearance of Commander Wolf, if I remember correctly. I got a triple check on that. My brain's a little fried at the moment. But because of that, I got some pictures. It flared it, and it caused 2 really big crinkle crunches right in there. And I'm like, this person had 100% feedback and had like several thousand feedback, and it's 100%, nothing negative, nothing neutral. So you're like, oh yeah, okay, this person's got it down. They sell comic books on the regular. That's what's all in their stores, comic books. And you mean to tell me that this is going to be acceptable? We've all been through it. It's been a long time since I've ordered stuff from eBay, and this just is not how you properly ship a book. You don't ship a book like that. And mind you, the other end of it isn't even properly attached either. So the book was literally just slipped right in here. Just like that. That's it. And the only thing holding it in was the top and the bottom tape. And because there's nothing else holding it in place, it slid around in shipping. And when it slid around in shipping, it got dinged on the bottom, and then it got stuck there. There it is. It got stuck there and then got crunched and rolled up and shipped to the rest of the way just like that. Well, that sucks. Either way. So that's that's emotionally taxing. I mean, that's another one of those things that kind of like you're looking forward to that. It gets delivered. You get the alert. You're like, all right. You already know that the book has got some challenges. No big deal. It's a reader grade newsstand copy. But when the thing comes damaged even worse than what was promised, you're like, now you got to go through the trouble of leaving feedback. And now you got to wait 7 days. eBay doesn't even let you leave honest, real feedback with pictures until 7 days have passed. Well, what's the point of having neutral and negative feedback if you can't leave it when you get the damn product? eBay. Either way. All right, let's hit up the chat again. But before we hit up the chat again, while everybody's here hanging out, announcement. One of the announcements that we made earlier at the start of the show is we are participating in C3 this year, Comics Curing Cancer. We are going to donate some time. We're going to help out on the channel. We're going to help promote the Comics Curing Cancer, and we're also going to ship out some books. Last year, we worked with Mission 22 to donate the channel monetization that we made to Mission 22. This year, the channel monetization still going back into the community in the form of graded comic book giveaways and a big giveaway at the end of the year. But what we're going to do is we're going to put in some work, and we're going to put in some time to help with the Comics Curing Cancer event coming up October 20th to October 22nd. And those guys sent over everything we need as far as thumbnails and the teaser trailer. And here you go. So you'll see that posted in shorts. You'll see that posted on probably TikTok and IG reels and things of that nature. It's cancer is not something to get excited about, but I am not excited. What's another term I'm looking for? I'm interested in being a part that helps out with this event. And when I say I'm excited, I'm not excited for it's a whole thing. Like I said, my brain's fried, but I'm looking forward to being a part to help playing a positive role in that event coming up through donations of time, hopefully. And we'll see what happens. Let's see if we can. They are talking about trying to break the record of donations for last year. So, and I forget what that was, $23,000. Let's dive back in the chat again really quick. Well, and then we'll do a recap of the books and do our usual format. Planet Zero Comics says, yeah, what's up? Catching you on the drive home. That's about where we left off. Congrats on the new puppers. Yes, I keep trying to get her to come down and hang out and kind of hop on my shoulder. It's a big dog. It's like, for us, it's a big dog. We've got 2 little dachshund wieners that run about 12 pounds. And it's wiener jokes throughout the house with dachshunds running around. But we found a terrier pit bull kind of mix. Sweetest girl ever that was in the adoption system for like 8 months, and nobody was adopting him. We don't know why. and she's been a great fit in the household. Loves hanging out with the little wiener dogs. Does a great job playing with our son. Obviously, it's a puppy. It's 65 pounds. She's a little rough. I think it's a great thing to help with teach my son boundaries and him teach her some boundaries. And I think it's great for the family. And maybe we can get her down here at some point, not necessarily tonight, but maybe share a picture. I definitely missed out on National Dog Day to share a picture, but we'll figure something out. Drew, man, good to see you again. Miss you. Yes. So here we are. We're getting caught back up. Josh Oliver again saying Andy and the comic family. Warlord, brother, what is up? Good to see you here as well, man. Remy Q. Oh boy. If you guys know Remy Q, get excited. We got to share some Whack Comics information because he just dropped his trailer for season 2 of 10 Whack Questions, and Remy Q's part of it, and so am I. And I am absolutely tickled pink. That 25 to 30 minutes of recording with Lee over at Whack Comics is probably the most fun I've had recording content in a year or two. It was unhinged, and Remy knows exactly what I'm talking about, and you guys just got to buckle up for what's going to be one hell of a ride with Whack Comics. It's going to be a hilarious time. Episode 4 was better than last week. Yes, an emotional roller coaster towards the end. I don't want to spoil anything, but without spoiling anything, the news is already dropping. This is not a spoiler. Don't cover your ears. You guys can listen to this. Episode 5 will have a theatrical release next week in like 10 cities around the country. What the hell is that saying? Oh, I'm really excited for next Tuesday now to catch that, man. And we're going to make sure Comics News Weekly runs on the hour so that after 9 o'clock, after we're done running live, we can pop on and watch that show at 10 p.m. Nice. I think I spent $50 for my near mint copy. There you go. That's pretty good. So I feel pretty comfortable in that $20, $25 range to grab any issue out of that run, really. That's newsstand that's in that 8.5, 8.0, 8.5, 9.0, that near mint minus, very fine plus the near mint minus kind of range. Good, solid reader copy for sure. Again, thank you for dropping links. That's one of the biggest things we can do to help build and grow the community for the next echelon of collectors, readers, and content creators coming into the community is to share links of channels that are working to grow and find an audience, share links to channels that have an audience that other people might be looking for, and help grow that community, bring awareness to all the great content creators out there. Everybody from Comic Tom to Gem Mint all the way to Brian LCS to little channels like this and little channels like if Comic Court comes back and does Modern Men again, or let's see, Remy Q Studios. Love the Thursday chat with Remy Q Studios, or Jake's Kingdom doing content. Share everybody's channel links, help grow the community, help share the content so everybody's finding an audience, and everybody that is an audience is finding the content that they're looking for. That's one of the best things we can do for the future of the community and the content. Remy Q, absolutely, man. Jake's Kingdom saying hi. What is up, man? Got my books, just haven't had a chance to post them. There you go. The community raised just over 22,000 last year. I think we can beat that with awareness, with communication, with sharing of links and everything, and building the community. I think we can break 22,000. It's going to be an interesting time being a part of that. Sub to Jigs Kingdom. There you go. There's the channel link for Jigs. Listening along while I drive home. There's several commuters driving home and listening along. Thank you, everybody here. Episode 4 was really good, Josh says, yeah. And he says fat chance about Modern Men getting back together. Yeah, I think there was a little bit of blurb, a little bit of talk about it not too long ago, maybe like a year ago, and it's just a schedule thing. It's hard. The reason why shows and people come together at certain times is because their schedules align and their ideas and their thoughts and the content ideas kind of align too when you talk about comic books and things of that nature when creating content. And then eventually, it's not that people want to grow apart. It's that their schedules and the world kind of pulls people apart. Thankfully, there's a community like this and Instagram and other areas where you can still stay in contact and still say hi and see how everybody's doing. And eventually, maybe schedules will realign and maybe we'll get there and do something on another channel or hang out. So once again, we're going to do the recap of the books really quick for anybody that's showing up a little bit late, because I know some people like to show up on the tail end for the recap to say hi. And anybody that's still here hanging out, this is a good opportunity to share what you felt about those books if you read them, or if you're going to read them, or if you're going to wait and see what happens. You know what I mean? Drew says, I really miss doing that show with you guys. I do too. Trick of that is sometimes a show like that does carry some homework, and you got to make time for that. And I don't feel like I'm in any place right now, still, even after a couple of years, to read enough books to be able to do an hour-long show on a full trade paperback like that. Digital reading does help out a lot. That's one thing to remember. And sometimes you just got to trim back and find your stride and break through that comic burnout. Because burnout's real, and it's okay to feel burnout. We've got 45 minutes and barely talked about comic burnout, but at the end of the day, it's just about getting on here, live streaming and freestyling and hanging out with you guys and sharing comic books for New Comic Book Day. Maybe there will be another form of content on the show live where we talk more about the specific topics one-on-one here in front of the camera without guests, or maybe we continue to merge Comic News Weekly into something where there's more guests and more back and forth with some of that, some of those ideas or some of those issues that we see and face as people, as friends, as family, and as comic book collectors. So starting right off the top with Marvel is Sydney Moon as Silk. Just a fun spider read that's not Peter Parker, that's not Miles Morales, that's not 2099. It's just a spider read without being a traditional spider read, or Gwen, for that matter. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Peter Parker fan, or I'm a Miles fan. I'm just not enough of a fan to read all of the Miles books. And this just kind of tickles that spider fancy, so to speak, without having a lot of commitment, right? Like I don't need to commit a lot to just read a little bit about Silk. And then Star Wars. We've been Star Wars heavy for well over a year now, and everything we're buying and reading Star Wars. Dark Droids 2 is out. I loved issue 1. I'm digging issue 2, about halfway through issue 2. I stopped before the shows tonight. Really looking forward to finishing this tonight and then getting into kind of the crossover event that's happening with the rest of the Star Wars books. And that's the thing. I have been just not looking forward to events at all. Event burnout is another thing that I've had, and this one makes me excited to read the other Star Wars books and find out what's going on with the Dark Droids, kind of tie-ins. Not really a crossover event, more of a tie-in thing, right? So issue 38 of Star Wars, there you go. Tie-in, Dark Droids tie-in. Lobot and Lando in the clutches of EV-99. Yeah. This is one thing that I love about Star Wars. It's the machines, it's the mechanical aspect of the ships and space and how cool and sci-fi like that is. So when you do a story or you do run of books that are focused more on the droids, you darn right I'm going to enjoy that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Cover pick of the week that I did grab is going to be the Clone Wars 15th anniversary variant for Star Wars 38, the Commander Cody. Absolutely love this. Like I said, the only other book that I think tops this is the 1 in 100 for Dark Droids #2 that we did not grab, that we did not even see, that I'm probably going to grab, probably going to take a peek off of eBay. Didn't mean to say grab, but thought about grabbing a link right now to look at that if anybody wants to stay and hang out towards the end of this, just to see kind of what's happening today with that book. John Tyler Christopher Battle Droid variant. Roger. First thing that comes to mind when I see that cover. I wonder how many of those I have now. Not John, just the action figure variants. I probably have quite a few of them over the last year. Connecting variant for Star Wars 38. I got to remember to go back and get the connecting variant for Droids 2, because I don't know how many issues they're going to go for this. Maybe one more. Just one more connecting variant. And for the love of God, if Chopper's not on it, I'm going to riot. You can't have a Droids title or a Droids read with connecting covers with a bunch of droids on them and not give me some Chopper, damn it. And then the anniversary variants, the 40th anniversary variants, 32 of 40. We are on the cusp of being done. For the love of God, yes, please. And you'd be like, Andy, why bother finishing? Because if I decide to not keep these, I think it's going to be a lot easier to just put all 40 of them together and put them on eBay and call it done and let somebody have a good deal to have all of them if they're interested. Paying cover price and getting a discount, on discount, a discount on a book is great. Getting your value out of it's even greater. Reading, collecting, enjoying it. But if I'm not going to keep them long-term, how much more value do those really provide for me versus letting somebody else have them or trading them? Maybe somebody in the community wants to trade that run of books for something. So that's Marvel. No DC right now. And Once Upon a Time, The End of the World issue 9 is a title that I was working to try to drop. And now that I see number 9 here, I'm like, man, I'm only a couple issues behind. If this ends up being a 12-issue series, it's going to be way easier to let go of in the future. If I put it on eBay for cover price or under cover price, it's Way easier to have all the whole run so somebody can read it. And you're gonna be like, well, Andy, somebody's gonna buy the trade if they want to read that. That's cool too. But there are a lot of collectors out there like me that if they're reading something, they want the single floppy issues. And if they decide to keep them, then they decide to keep them. If somebody wants to not wait for that to happen and they want to buy the trade, they'll buy the trade. Speaking of indie titles, Tear Us Apart #1. We read the premise earlier, and we're going to read the premise again because this one sounds pretty cool as an indie title. Pretty easy to find in League of New Comic Geeks right there with that standout cover. Deep in the Canadian wilderness, a vicious cult dedicated to an ideology of pain trains children to become deadly assassins. This sounds like I should be talking like a WWE wrestler, you know what I mean? In the midst of this world of cruelty, two teenagers break the cardinal rule by falling in love. I'm not really a love guy, but I mean, you can tell by the cover where they're going with this. The only thing standing between them and happily ever after is an army of murderers with a taste for blood. It sounds creepy. It sounds fun. It sounds kind of gory. I think that's going to be well worth the cover price of a read, whether it's 6 or 12 issues. I don't know. It's Dark Horse Comics. It's an indie read. Can't imagine it going more than 12. Speaking of indie reads, Hunt for the Skinwalker is coming out. This is one that I've not seen a lot of people talking about on social media. We did talk about it a little bit. Like, there's a couple of my friends that enjoy this style of book that I've seen talk about it. But I've not seen anybody post pictures. I've not seen anybody talking about FOC the last couple of months when it was out. Hunt for the Skinwalker 1 is from Boom Studios, which means we're going to be smart about variant covers, which is interesting. Issue 1 was out today, but I don't recall seeing a lot of variant covers. And we're looking at that at League of New Comic Geeks now, and there's only, I saw the B cover. Izzyverse shared that earlier today, which looked really cool. There is a 1 in 10 Virgin variant of cover A and a 1 in 25, but that's 5 total, substantially less than what Boom Studio has done in the past for the releases. So this might not have a very long shelf life as far as not shelf life. It might not be a very long running series, but unidentified flying objects, animal mutilation, which sounds terrible but terrifying. When you put it in reading form, it makes for good reading. Terrifying doesn't make for good reading. It makes for terribly creepy reading is what I mean to say. Terrifying otherworldly cryptids, countless strange phenomenon. For more than 50 years, a remote ranch in the Uten Basin has been the most significant nexus for the paranormal. Ooh. Inspired by one family's confrontation with the unexplainable and terrifying and what happened when they invited the largest scientific investigation of the paranormal to the ranch. Ding, 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 ding. My brain lights up and says, well, that sounds like something X-Files related. This would be really cool to read. I'm going to read that, and we are going to report back on that when issue 2 comes out, and we're going to talk about, did it hold up? Did it stand up? Was it worth reading and picking up? I'll let you guys be the judge if you flip through it at your LCS or if you want to read it digitally and go from there. But we'll talk about it issue 2 next month when that comes out. Kill Your Darlings was really good. I almost picked that up because it did look kind of creepy. And I'm like, the only thing is I did not see Kill Your Darlings on League of New Comic Geeks. Not saying it's not there. Just saying I overlooked it. And when I overlook things like that, there it is. Yep. Kill Your Darlings, #1. 8-year-old Rose loves nothing more than to play with pretend in a magical land of her own creation. To her, that world is as real as our own. From her fluffy friends to the terrible evil that lurks in the center of it all. And one night, the line between fantasy and reality will disappear. An ancient hunger will feed again, and Rose will be pulled into a gruesome saga that began centuries before her birth. Oof, a new epic begins from the debut writers Ethan S. Parker and Griffin Sheridan and superstar art team Bob Quinn from the Knights of X and John J. Hill from Vanish. That does sound pretty good too, actually. We might pick that up when we go back. We might have to pick that up. And then with New Comic Book Day, those are the New Comic Book Day books that we picked up. But we also, like we talked about, picked up a couple of back issues online. And that was pretty exciting to get a newsstand edition of Clone Wars 2, a great solid reader copy in good shape. 8.0, 8.5, maybe 9 at the most. But I didn't have any newsstand editions from the Clone Wars run. And you guys know, if you've been watching the channel for the last several months, we completed a full run of issues 1 through 12 of the Clone Wars in CGC 9.8. Now we're after the long-term haul is to complete that registry set with the variants and the variant incentive variant for number 1, which is going to be a very long-term goal, setting up saving for and potentially trading books towards that. And then there's 4 other issues on there, one of which is the first appearance of Bo-Katan, which is crazy expensive and high grade. And another one is a celebrity signing of issue 5, which doesn't come up super often. And when it does, people put some crazy price tags on it. But we got issue 2. We also found issue 8, Great Assad Ventress cover, and I think the first Commander Wolf, if I remember correctly. Potentially. But not potentially. It's a first appearance of one of the other clones. I just can't remember if it's not Commander Cody. I think it was Commander Wolf. Newsstand. It did show up damaged due to crappy packaging by the seller. And that's a whole mental drain of having to go through that process of, I don't even care about the money. I don't want a discount. I don't want my money back. I want the book as sold, as advertised, and shipped well. That's what I really want. So now to share my honest feelings and honest opinion and feedback, I gotta wait 7 freaking days. Even to leave a neutral one. You can add pictures now, it looks like. Nonetheless, kind of draining. We're coming up on that hour mark, so we're going to hit up the chat one more time, talk about announcements again, talk about what's coming up, what we've been working on. For those of you guys that don't know, that don't see the short side of this, there is a plethora of shorts going on because we've been pack ripping Punisher cards and got a whole stack of guts and gunpowder and have been having a ton of fun with that. And it's just fun playing around with tunes from the 90s to kind of spark that memory of back in the day when you're listening to the radio, riding your bike around to the different shops and picking up packs and ripping them. And we've completed the base set run of cards, and we finished all 48 packs, and we're uploading a couple a day to shorts. And if you guys like 90s tunes and you guys like Punisher, check them out. It's really kind of cool. It's pretty easy. All you got to do is when you go to the channel, we'll share it with you right here. We keep it right on the shorts feed run. There you go. And all you can do at the very top is hit the shorts tab. And right at the very beginning is a whole run of them. We got 26 packs uploaded, but having a lot of fun with that. It's not something a ton of people are interested in, but it's still fun. I don't care if it's 2 views or 10 views or 1 view. It's fun with the tunes, and I like seeing people's reactions when we get a hit or when there's a really good tune that brings somebody back and they say, hey, thanks for that tune. Thanks for that memory. So if you guys are interested in checking out what that set has to offer, and granted, it's a 90 card base set. There's 48 packs in a set or in a box, 10 cards to a pack. So 480 cards out of a 90 card base set. Yeah, I think we've completed a set twice over at a minimum already. But that's been a lot of fun right there. Check it out. We are kind of bunking around with YouTube Shorts a little bit more to kind of learn about how people search or how the search affects YouTube Shorts and what that really does. It's pretty fun, pretty interesting project, pretty neat. I wouldn't even really call it a project. I'd call it pack ripping because it's fun, or it used to be fun as a kid. And continuing on with like the news, we talked about C3, and here's the 1 minute spot they provided. So sit back for 1 more minute and catch this really quick for the C3 news. Yes, if you would like to donate any items for Comics Curing Cancer coming up for October 20th to the 22nd, please hit up channels DJ Links, Rob's Fat Stack of Comics, or Legion of Comics. Or if you guys have my information, hit me up and I'll get you in touch with those guys and we can help hook that up. So you guys are setting something if you guys are interested. There it is. There's the initial newses because it's plural apparently, and announcements. And going into next week, content wise, tomorrow's Thursday. We're still going to upload some shorts. We're going to be working on some other ideas. We've got 2 pieces of content in the pipeline that we need to record and upload for Comic Shell and for Encased in Comics, for those 2 great items that we've fallen in love with that we are using right now for phenomenal book hanging on the wall and for my con pack. I can't wait to finally get those done and kind of get those great creative juices finished to get those uploaded. I think those are great pieces of content to share with the community. And also this weekend is Baltimore Comic Con. We unfortunately are not able to make it to Baltimore Comic Con. There's a lot going on here that we have to address and take care of, but we'll definitely see you guys at the next convention, whether it be Baltimore or somewhere else out there. We're still going to conventions. And then we'll roll into next Tuesday, Comic News Weekly. Through the weekend, we'll still be uploading shorts and working on content. You'll see us here live for New Comic Book Day Wednesday. You'll see us on Mark, the Legion of Comics channel, Sunday. Hopefully they invite me back for at week's end for what's going to be some absolutely amazing Ahsoka discussion after episode 4 dropped. Give everybody a few days to breathe. We're going to be talking about it this Sunday. So absolutely going to be amazing. Looking forward to that. And we're going to make an effort to be on other channels, little guest spots here and there. You guys, Beyond Wednesdays is coming up here in a little bit tonight. Don't know that I can stay up for that, but don't forget to support those guys there. That Friday night show, that Saturday night show, they do great work over there. A lot of fun. And yeah, let's catch up with the chat before we call it a night. Junie is she? I heard dog tags. Is she going to make an appearance? Junie. Generally, this dog is so in love with the CEO of the house and the mini CEO of the house that she's right up there for bath time and right up there for bedtime and is out like a light hanging out with them. So getting her down here for a guest appearance is going to be really, really difficult. I have Pippi Longstocking coming to my Tulsa comic book. Oh, that's right. Nicholas Gaultier there's another Tulsa comic book swap. In fact, he sent me the information. We're going to get those clips or the thumbnails that we can put up and talk about leading up into that event for him. That's going to be awesome right there. Heard it was a phenomenal turnout and there was a ton of people, so much so that apparently they're doing it again in less than a year. Good stuff, man. Lots of people saying hi, even though they're coming in on the tail end. Thank you, Drew, man. Always killing it. Appreciate you, man. And if you're watching on the replay, don't forget to leave a chat, man. Don't forget to say hi on Instagram or anywhere else if you've got time. The pack rips, Josh. I'm with you, man. Josh is a really big Punisher fan like me, and I like those pack rips. They're a lot of fun. Josh, don't be afraid to leave a comment with one of your favorite cards out of there, or if it's a set you've pack ripped or something. But dude, I know you dig tunes out of the 90s too, so hopefully those tug at some memories for you there. They're not new packs. They're from 1992. It's the 1992 base set for Guts and Gunpowder, and we found a box for like $35 or $40 a year or two. And I've been sitting on 2 boxes for a long time. I thought about giving packs away when we ship stuff out. And I thought that would be really cool. I mean, you know what? I've never finished the base set, nor have I even finished all of the Prism or the Scratch and Sniff cards. Let's open them up and see if we can finish a set. That would be really cool. And then we can still add some of those cards. We can still add some of those cards to giveaways in the packages that we send out to Punisher fans out there and anybody looking for that cool stuff. Or vintage. They are vintage. It's not a new. I wish they would do it. You imagine if Topps Chrome did a Punisher series for if they do a Punisher show coming soon? That would be really cool. That would be really slick. Shout out to Wearing Gloves While Ripping. I sometimes wonder if people just don't watch because I have the gloves on, because you see pack rippers all over the place with no gloves on. And there's constantly people in watching that stuff and nobody says anything about the gloves. I wear gloves just in case I find a card that I definitely want to get graded. I've never graded cards before. But if I'm going to grade a card, I definitely want the best edge possible when it comes to keeping them clean and healthy for that grading process. You need to send some stuff to Rob. Yes, we will be sending him some stuff for C3. Oh, yeah, he's saying, yeah, he needs to send stuff. I am not going to spoil anything just yet, but I want to put together a pretty big box to send out to them, or maybe even 2. Drew says he's not even going to Baltimore for the first time in like 15 years. Yeah, there's just lots of unknown, and Baltimore, that's the tough part, is the trip to Baltimore and the time in Baltimore City for us was just as special, if not more special than just the con. The people at the con was the most special part for us. Then the great food, the atmosphere, that downtown Inner Harbor, walking around there was a ton of fun. Great content. Yeah, thank you, Nick, man. I appreciate you. Lewis, thank you for the show, for saying great show. And that bubbly water packs a kick. The best for wearing gloves, he says. Oh boy. I don't know. I've got them laying around. I might as well wear them. But yeah, again, thank you everybody for a phenomenal new Comic Book Day Wednesday. Another phenomenal week in the books. Some fun content, sitting down, ripping live or freestyling live, hanging out with you guys. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the most important part all day, every day of the comic book community because you guys make this possible. Everybody that creates content and everybody that watches and enjoys the content, thank you so much. But you guys know how we're going to do this, right? We'll see you guys next time. We're going to go peace out. We're going to go pinkies out. We're going to catch you on the flip side for the next one. But remember, the most important part all day, every day, be original and take care of each other because we are all we have. Have a great week, everybody. Definitely take care of each other. See you on the next one.
Excuse me while I change. The roller boogie has made me sweaty. Yeah, sweaty.
Double up, double up, double up. The money I color, 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 color.